Welcome back to Eye on Politics. Now to the expanding field in the Democratic primary for Texas governor. State Representative Gina Hinojosa entered the race last week. She joins Andrew White, who ran for governor back in 2018 and lost in the Democratic primary runoff. Hinojosa kicked off her campaign during a rally in her hometown of Brownsville last week. She's advocated for more state funding for public schools and was among the sharpest critics of the state's new school choice program that passed last year. We went one-on-one with Gina Hinojosa, and I asked her why she's running for governor and about the essence of her campaign.
Right now, we have a governor, Greg Abbott, who prioritizes the interests of really the corporate greed that is hurting Texans right now. Greg Abbott has been in office for over a decade, and Texans are struggling with higher costs for housing, higher costs for utility, and schools in crisis. So we need a governor who will work for the people of Texas and not for the well-connected, wealthy elite.
And before you get to a general election, you've still got to duke it out in the primary. You're going up against Andrew White. Why should Democratic primary voters select you over him?
Well, let me say it's going to take all of us to beat Greg Abbott, but I have a record that spans about a decade of working for the interests of working families, working Texans, and I will be running on that record, but I will be running for November. The stakes are so high, I have a responsibility to put all of my efforts into winning in November and not taking my eye off the prize. So that is my goal for this campaign.
You talked a little bit before about Governor Abbott. His campaign issued a statement yesterday, and I want to give you a chance to respond. He said Gina has proven that she is out of step with Texas. She sides with the defund the police movement, supports men competing in women's sports, backs harmful child modification procedures, embraces reckless open border policies, and opposes critical bail reform that keeps dangerous criminals behind bars. What do you say to that?
So that is such a tired attack on Democrats and on me in particular. Let me tell you what Greg Abbott does. He punches down at those the least power. He distracts you with social issues with one hand while he takes your money with the other to give to his wealthy donor friends. And that is something that Texans are starting to see through. This is a governor who has a record of corruption like we've never seen in Texas before. Voters are starting to understand that. All I hear in this state is Texans want change, and I am the candidate for governor for change.
And so what are your top priorities if elected?
So obviously, neighborhood public schools have been a priority for me and will continue to be a priority to me. It's really pretty simple. We have to prioritize teacher pay. Our teachers right now are making $10,000 below the national average, when we all know the best thing we can do for our kids in the classroom is put a great teacher in that classroom. So that needs to be a priority. We need to scrap the vendor contracts that have gone out of control in this state under Greg Abbott and instead prioritize teachers and the classroom. Also, healthcare. Healthcare is out of reach for so many Texans. We could pull down federal funds to ensure 1 million Texans. That is money Texans have paid into the system. Greg Abbott refuses to accept to provide life-saving healthcare for Texans. And when you look at, for instance, housing costs are out of control. Texans need real solutions for the housing crisis in Texas. We're one of the worst in the country when it comes to affordable housing. That needs to be a priority of the governor. That will be my priority.